Hello, I'm Steve Shaw, National Coordinator of Football Officials and Secretary Rules Editor for the NCAA. And today we're continuing our series of media videos for the 2023 season, and we're going to be focused on game action from Week 0. Now, Week 0 was limited in terms of number of games, but there's some interesting situations and plays that are certainly worthy of this video. But remember, this video is not about correct call, incorrect call, but is really to deliver a better understanding of rules, interpretations, and officiating standards. And we're also going to report out on significant trends in the game, certainly player safety rules like targeting, and with our rule changes with the clock this year, we're going to keep a close eye on number of plays per game and pace of our game. So with that, let's get straight on into Week 0 plays. Our first play, we're going to take a look at a potential targeting foul. Now, the quarterback throws up the near side hash mark to the tight end, and there's a big hit by the defender number 3. Now, we're going to get a flag from our back judge for targeting. So we know replay is going to come in and review the play, and they must confirm all aspects of targeting or overturn the call on the field. Remember, there's no stands with targeting. We don't want to disqualify players on a marginal type play. Now, the receiver takes a couple steps after the catch, but is still in a defenseless posture, so we do have a defenseless player. Then we have an indicator of targeting as the defender, number 3, lowers his head, leads with his head, and attacks the defenseless receiver. Finally, we can confirm forcible contact to the head or neck area of this defenseless receiver, so replay can confirm all aspects of this, and it is targeting. Number 3 is disqualified for the game, and since this is in the first half, he's available to play in the next game. Play 2, and really these next 3 plays are going to be illustrations of some of our new rules for this year. So in this sequence, the offense, late in the first half, with all 3 timeouts remaining, they run inside the red zone to the 15-yard line, and then they're going to call a timeout with 27 seconds remaining in the half. Now, we see before the next snap, the play clock is running down, and when it gets to 2, the quarterback tries to call a timeout. The play clock expires, and we get a good announcement by our referee.
Rule change. I don't think you can call back-to-back timeouts.
You're not allowed to call back-to-back timeouts. Therefore, delay a game, often.
Yeah, you can't. Now that's one of the new rules this year. You cannot go back-to-back timeouts.
Now, this play sequence is a reminder that consecutive charge team timeouts are not allowed by the same team per individual dead ball period. The crew was correct not to acknowledge the timeout request by the offense, and this resulted in a delay of game penalty. Play 3 illustrates our new drone policy for 2023. And as you can see, there's an unidentified wayward drone flying over the field of play, and the referee and the crew do a good job of stopping the game, getting the field cleared, and the referee makes an announcement that play was being suspended. Now, the crew turns everything over to game management, and we're going to see that the drone continues to fly around the field, over the field, and delayed the game for a few more minutes. But finally, law enforcement was able to confiscate and disable the drone. So after the delay, the crew gets the teams back out and we're ready to go. Now, I hope this is just an isolated occurrence from Week 0, but a good job by all to handle this situation. Play 4, we're going to look at an experimental media rule for the 2023 season. Now, currently, by rule, team personnel may not be interviewed from the start of the first period until the referee declares the game ended. And there's one exception, that coaches may be interviewed between the conclusion of the second period and the beginning of the third period. And we're all accustomed to these interviews during the halftime intermission. Now, in this game, in Week 0, we see the first quarter ends, and then the TV sideline reporter begins interviewing the head coach right at the edge of the team area. This is now allowed as an experiment for 2023 with conference and institution approval. The exception allowing interviews is being extended to include the break between the first and second quarter and the third and fourth quarter. And really, this experiment is to give fans more access to the action. Play 5, the offense is punting from their own 30-yard line. Now the punt takes a big bounce and is headed to the goal line. And we're going to see number 10, he bats the ball back into the field of play to prevent it from going into the end zone. And then number 24 touches the ball. He tries to keep it in the field of play and is finally recovered and down by number 17 of the kicking team in the field of play. Now, the NFL and NCAA rules are very different here. And in the NCAA, it is the position of the ball is what matters, not the position of the player. The player can be partially in the end zone when he touches the ball, but as long as the ball doesn't break the plane of the goal line, it's still in the field of play. Now, we get great camera shots here, and the ball does break the plane of the goal line. So even though it is downed in the field of play, it will be a touchback because it broke the plane. And if the ball would not have broken the plane, it would be spotted back in the field of play. And since there were multiple touches by the kicking team, it would go at the touch by 24, which is further away from the goal line. But remember, on these goal line plays, it's the position of the ball, not the position of the player. Our last play is another punt play. Now, it's a high kick. The receiver hangs in, makes the catch, takes a couple of quick moves, and then is driven back hard by number 14 of the kicking team. Now, as we look at the replay, number 6 receives the punt. He quickly fakes right, then left, and then he's hit. And there's no call from the crew on the field. But replay is going to stop the game to review for a potential targeting foul. And as we look closer, the receiver is definitely not defenseless as he's had time to transition to a runner. So if we don't have a defenseless player, the only type targeting we can have is a crown of the helmet hit. And replay must confirm 2 things for a crown of the helmet targeting: an indicator of targeting and forcible contact with the crown of the helmet to the opponent. And from the replays, we see number 14, he lowers his head, leads with his head, and he attacks the return man. So there's an indicator. And then there's forcible contact with the crown of the helmet to the opponent. And that contact doesn't have to be to the head of the opponent to be a crown of the helmet hit. But this meets the definition of the crown of the helmet, which is defined as the 6-inch radius from the top or apex of the helmet. So replay can confirm both aspects of a crown of the helmet targeting foul. They add the foul from the booth, and number 14 is disqualified. Well, that's it for our plays this week, and we appreciate your time invested in this video, and we hope these plays are helpful from a rules and officiating standards perspective. We welcome your feedback, and we look forward to a great kickoff in week 1 to our college football season. Best of luck to all.